If you could rewind to 17, would you fix your life or would you just finally understand it? Normally we do prestige or well-known movies, but every now and again we got to do one for us. This one's a little comfort movie fantasy with a sneaky solid heart. It was on all the time growing up at 370 Westbury Drive, and it's one that I can't wait to rewatch when it's on. Now, admittedly, it's been a while since I'd seen this one, but I kept staring at it. I still have the DVD. I have 2 DVDs of this movie, and since I'm close to what I'm pretty close to the age that Matthew Perry is supposed to be in this movie. So there is a specific kind of pain that only hits when you're 37 and you realize that you're a lot of times like your internal struggles are just arguing with your 17-year-old self. We're talking 17 again. And this is basically like a midlife crisis therapy disguised as a Zac Efron vehicle. And it works because the movie is well made. It's got a great runtime. We'll get into that. We'll talk about a lot of the Efron post-Disney audition. We'll talk about some of the business of the movie. We'll talk about Matthew Perry, R.I.P. We'll talk about how well this movie aged. But Griff, when I asked you about doing this movie, what were your initial thoughts?
My initial thoughts were, I can't believe we're doing this one, first off, of all the past movies that we've done. And then second, I was like, I just love this. I'm always been a sucker for a rom-com. There's a little bit of sports in there, but it's something everyone, I feel like, can relate to because everyone's kind of been in high school before. You've seen the different types of people, and they portray it really well. With, you've got your old school bullies, you've got like a new kid coming in, a kid who's getting bullied, girl drama, family stuff. It's got it all, and best friendship too.
Yeah, it does. It does have a little bit of everything in it. Probably been maybe 8 to 10 years since I'd seen this before saying, you know what we got to do? We've been doing a lot of like, one-man army type movies or like any kind of revenge. I mean, God, we're a sucker for that. But I said, yeah, we gotta toss in a goodie. And this might not be the most popular of movies. It might not be. A lot of people probably don't know about it. But God damn, take me back to 2009. This is not my introduction to one of my favorite actors, but it is what cemented this guy as one of my most rewatchable actors. Like, I'll watch anything he's in just because it's him now. And it's because of this movie. I fucking love this movie. And I'm shocked saying that because prior to this movie, I was a hater. Pretty much any other, I don't know, teenage heartthrob that all the girls are like, oh my God, he's so cute. I'm like, God, he's probably a loser. But watching him in this movie and seeing how funny he is, how charming he is, he won me over, man. He won me over.
I hated him. I hated High School Musical. I hated it so much. I was so jealous of this guy. I couldn't get this guy off my screen. It was like him and Bieber were like the 2 biggest like guys of that era and like I remember just sitting there. We're going to England. So privileged, by the way. I was able to go to England as like a kid. And like Colin and I were sitting there on the plane, and you've like hit all these different movies you can watch on the plane. It was like the first time I ever experienced it. And I see 17 again. I'm like, Zac Efron, that looks awful. I look over, I see one of our teammates is watching it. I was like, all right, I'll give it a play. And from there, just like you said, dude, Zac Efron, like, he brought me back to a point where I'm like, I actually like this guy. And now everything he's in, I'm gonna kind of watch it because he's just so suave and easy to root for in this.
Yes, dude, it's such a great movie. It is very 2000s-y. It's very, but a lot of like his moments and some of the lessons that are in it are very timeless. So this movie comes out in 2009. It's under basically a rom-com genre, but there's also like, it's kind of like fantasy comedy and I'll say family rom-com, because it's not one of your classic rom-coms that we would normally see. Runtime on it is excellent. 2 minutes. It's an hour 42. So short, sweet. Really not a whole lot of fat on this, which CK, if he was here, he'd appreciate. He loves a movie that doesn't run too long. The premise of this is there's a regretful 37-year-old who gets physically rebooted to his 17-year-old self, but instead of going back in time, he's his 17-year-old self in present day. The core cast is Zac Efron, that's the 17-year-old version of Matthew Perry, who is the 37-year-old version of a guy named Mike. Mike O'Donnell, I should say. Leslie Mann plays his wife, or soon-to-be ex-wife, Scarlett. We also get Lieutenant Dangle from Reno 911, a.k.a. Thomas Lennon. He plays Ned, the dorky best friend. And another one, R.I.P. Michelle Trachtenberg. She plays the daughter Maggie. You probably know her more from either like Harriet the Spy or Eurotrip, I want to say. It's probably her most famous movies, but she plays the daughter in this. Anyways, that's the basics of the movie. Like I said, it comes out in 2009. So there's always, like, I would say every year, there's probably a pretty, I don't know about solid, but some kind of high school movie or some kind of high school storyline that pops up in movies, which resonates with everybody, because virtually all of us have gone through high school. We've had awkward phases. We've had emotions that are funny in hindsight, but not funny in the moment. There's, like you said, Griff, a good amount of fantasy comedy, not just with him going back and, like, the whole body swapping thing, changing back into his younger self, which would be fucking incredible for basically any 37-year-old to go back to their 17-year-old body, except maybe Tom Brady. But it's like everybody in this plays their part really well. But his friend is just a total, like, sci-fi fantasy dork who, Lieutenant Dangle, Ned, he makes it big. He's actually a rich, nerdy best friend, and it's because he developed software to help people protect their music, and also develop software to help people steal music. But that
coincidentally,
totally a coincidence. There's just a lot of great, like, one-liners in here from him. A lot of great tropes that I don't know that they would play as well for kids that are, like, just now in high school, but when we were in high school, this shit was fucking hilarious. And so I love this movie, man.
There's a lot of good cringe moments in there too, where you're kind of holding your teeth back, just because you got to keep in mind, in this movie, it's a 37-year-old man that's playing a 17-year-old. So he's doing things in a 17-year-old body that are just insane situations that he's in, and also how he confronts people almost without any fear is pretty awesome. It's
pretty awesome because, at 17, you're either in one of two camps, and I would say 90% of people are in one camp where it's like, I'm going to be timid. Like, I don't have enough life experience to feel super confident in this scenario, whatever the confrontation is. But then there's the 10% that are just born assholes, like Stan. They will say whatever. But when you're 37, you got enough life experience behind you where you're going to feel a little bit more comfortable standing up for yourself and standing up for others, because you've seen a lot. There is a lot of, like, moments like that throughout here that are cringy, or at least start cringy, but then they end up, like, tying together and actually becoming pretty fun, cool moments in here.
Yeah, they do. They really tie. It's really funny to see that, but the way that they portray too of what it really is like to be cool. Like, sure, you can be popular, but to do things the way Zac Efron does in the movie, that's being cool. That's 100%. Being the cool, popular kid in school,
It's awesome because you don't, like, I don't know. I think the casting in this was really good, and I'll tell you why. So Efron, as much at the time as I didn't want to admit, this dude is fucking cool. He exudes cool in this movie. And there's a couple of scenes that we'll talk about in a little bit that kind of, bring that out. But you get Efron cast in this, and I think he was pretty much like the go-to in the limited research that we did for the movie. I don't think they were really targeting anybody else for this role. There's maybe one or two other guys around this time that could have been targeted for something like this. But in terms of finding somebody that can pull off, this, I'm 17 and in high school, but, and look the part, but actually, act older. I don't really think that there's a lot that could do it the way that he did it. But this is really his audition from High School Musical and like being kind of Mr. Teen Idol to, can this guy lead a movie? And I'm just going to spoil it right now. The answer is yes. God damn, this answer is yes. This man can do it. Okay. You had Matthew Perry, who everybody knows as Chandler from Friends. So you're getting like two groups of audience that could really like relate to this movie. You're either going to get the group that the adults that are going to watch this for Chandler and be like, yeah, that guy looks like the epitome of somebody who definitely was good at something once, but peaked and has a lot of regrets and like disappointment and stuff like that. He just looks like that.
Perfect body for it. Like the amount, like his like BMI percentage, like it's perfect for like this guy used to be sick.
This guy was sick in high school. Okay.
And he's still like, he's got like good hair in the movie and stuff. Like you can just see he's got a good smile still, but his humor's a little bit more dry. It's just like,
yes,
you can tell he's a little bit washed up version of himself.
He's so snarky. He brings so much credibility to an adult with regret angle that this movie's going for. Efron, in addition to like looking young and fit and, star athlete and all that in this, which, I don't know if he can hoop for real, but he does play basketball in a lot of these movies and honestly can splash. Like the dude's got some skill, assuming that wasn't a double. It was assuming it wasn't a stunt double. But I love the casting of those two. They don't look alike at all, but you could see maybe time has not been Chandler's friend. And that's kind of the idea.
It's a little bit more of the point though, right?
Exactly. So I think it adds to the credibility of the movie. So you get those two groups looking, you get the, the younger groups looking for, oh my God, Zac Efron's in a movie, let's go see it. And then you get, the people that are like our parents' age who are like, oh my God, I love Chandler and Friends. He's so fucking sarcastic in that. He's going to be great in this. And he was, although he's not in it very long, but you have a couple, he's in it enough, but you've got like Leslie Mann, I think is awesome. I don't know that this is her best role that I've seen her in, but it's probably in her. She's had so many good ones and so many over the years, just being married to Judd Apatow. She's been in a shitload of his movies, but this is probably the most I have seen somebody of her caliber, like dive into a role and be super believable, like a Mom Next Door type of deal. You know what I mean? Like if she was your next door neighbor and was going through this, you'd believe every second of it.
So believable. Because it's not like she's like blow the doors off like LA, a bunch of like fake stuff, like injection. You know what I mean? She looks like your realistic mom of like a high school friend of yours, like very common, nothing like super wow, but you could also like see behind it in a way of
amen.
Yeah. Trying to word that correctly.
Well, listen, words are not our specialty. That's okay. But dude, budget for
got
this.
A face made for podcasting.
Well, listen, we all do. The budget for this movie was $20 million. This thing grossed $136 million worldwide.
It's a lot higher.
That's a fucking banger, dude. That's a banger.
I thought it was going to be like 80s, 90s.
No, I mean, I would have guessed the same thing. I would have been like, I remember really liking this movie, but I don't remember a bunch of people talking about it. And usually with a movie that's going to get over $100 million in worldwide revenue, I think maybe 80 was US. But when you get those movies, people are talking about it at school. They're talking about it online. You're seeing, you get a bunch of like one-liners from it. That was really not the case in this in 2009 or anything afterwards. It's not really one of those like, I don't really remember it being like one of those slow burn movies either, where it's like, hey, I've saw it once, like a little bit, but then it just kept coming on TV again and again. I don't remember this being that. I remember this movie being like, it was on demand one time, or it was on Stars or HBO or something like that. And we were like, fuck it, let's give it a shot. And then every time it was on, we'd be like, yes, let's go. But it wasn't like, or we would just pop the DVD in and be like,
You're not going out of your way seeking this movie. This movie will find you, but it's not going to find you on like FX or TNT or something like that. It's going to be on those HBOs, those Stars, those types of channels. It's surprise, or you're at like a buddy's house. You guys are going through movies. And you're like, screw it. It's the first suggestion because it's a number. Bang.
They said that we would like it. So, I mean, it is the Zeph. Let's go for it. But bottom line is, anybody that is the lead in $100 million movie, they're a fucking lead. Okay. That's a lead actor. So that's what, if this movie did nothing else, it positions Efron in Hollywood. Like, this guy can be a lead in just about anything, and it doesn't have to be a High School Musical. It can be a rom-com, sure. I've seen a lot of his stuff after this. He's in a ton of comedies, which I think is a lot more endearing for college age Efron when he actually starts getting big and muscular, and he gets his
doing like Neighbors and Baywatch and
dude, he's doing all that stuff. And
I mean, he's got to take his shirt off in every movie, right? I think that's part of his
contract. It's in the contract, but he's got to do it. He's got to do it. But in this, like, I think what was really fun was his ability to mix being himself and being Matthew Perry. He actually like walked around in this and like studied Matthew Perry's mannerisms, studied his facial expressions, studied how he would say stuff. So like there's several scenes, especially with, and I'll name one of them. Anytime that Leslie Mann's friend would come over to try and get her on a date or try to get her drunk, he'd be, Naomi, it's Naomi. Yeah, whatever. Don't care. Like, Efron does the same exact shit that old Matthew Perry would do, and it's comedy, dude. It's great.
There's one other, not to spoil too much, but one that I thought was so killer funny is she's redoing the backyard, and there's a bunch of unfinished stuff that he did, like the barbecue pit and a few other things. And she goes, yeah, it looks a lot better than you used to. And Zac Efron goes, I don't think so.
It brings you back to like, that is Chandler stuck inside this god bod. All right. This young god bod right here is hysterical, dude. But also proves we love, as an audience, anything that is like a proven subgenre. We don't get them all the time, but like the movie Big with Tom Hanks. I am not your biggest Tom Hanks fan, but you get a movie like Big. You get a movie like Freaky Friday with Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan. You get a movie like 13 Going on 30, basically the opposite of this movie, maybe, with Jennifer Garner. We do like those movies. We love a good body swap. Griff, do you remember The Change Up with Jason Bateman,
yes,
Ryan Reynolds,
and Bateman? That one's great.
That's love a good change up.
My second favorite behind this one.
Same like. There's always the same dilemma with everyone. Like, A, they can't believe what they're seeing. B, they have to convince the people that they're closest to they are who they say they are, despite not looking like the person and going into like very big detail. So that fucking sells. It sells all the time. Yeah. We like that.
And they always come back to, it's not always greener on the other side. The way you got it is the way you definitely want it.
Exactly. And usually very low visual effects spending, which means the budget is lower, which means you have a better return. These movies are easier to make. And as long as the casting is good and the storyline is pretty good, which this one, pretty relatable on like 4 different fronts, you're going to have a pretty fucking strong movie. Strong chance at a good damn movie if you can do that. I thought that there's a couple of like little things that I found in this during the limited research portion of this. So like during the production of the movie that kind of made me like Efron even more. So he has like appendicitis during the movie, like during the shooting of the movie. And Matthew Perry is like, "You sure it's not just like gas or something?" He's like, "I'm pretty sure." And he has an appendectomy, like gets it, and then is like right back the next day. And
I know.
another thing that like just basically miss no time. That's the kind of thing that Hollywood, any kind of producer can look at and be like, this dude is bought in. He's reliable. Like, I fucking love that.
Especially since this isn't his first big movie, but in my mind, like everyone is gonna
For
always
us,
associate him
this is his
back
first
to High
big.
School Musical and stuff. But like to me, this was his first big breakthrough from that. And
Yes.
with the cast that he's with someone like Matthew Perry and Leslie Mann, who are like so well connected in Hollywood. For them to like speak about him after that, it goes a long way to set up how great of a career he's had.
Yeah, exactly. And like I would say his career hasn't gone exactly on the trajectory that I think it could have gone, but I think that's okay.
I
I
don't
think
think
that
that's what he wanted though, is that type of
I don't think so
trajectory.
either.
I think he wanted to just do his funny stuff. He's more like in that Adam Sandler mindset of, I just want to make a good movie that people can watch. Other than that, he's not trying to be like a Leo.
That's what I thought. Like, I think when I first saw him in this is, I mean, I'd never watched High School Musical, so this is my introduction to Efron. And I thought, this guy could be like Tom Cruise light. You know what I mean? Like he could be that guy. He's got the looks, he's got some athleticism, he's got pretty good charm. The thing that he has above what a Cruise has, I don't think Cruise has ever had like a romantic scene where I've been totally sold on his chemistry with any actress, no matter how good looking he is or she is. I just don't think I think he's more like robotic or alien than human. Zac Efron, dude, I believe everything about him when he is connecting with people. I think he's so charming, and this movie, it just exudes that to like the nth degree. I cannot imagine watching this movie and watching him and being like, nah, this is not, I can't get behind this guy. He is incredibly likable throughout this.
Yeah, he is. He's just like, this is peak Efron in terms of, you see now he's got all this facial stuff done. This is like his actual physical peak is this movie. I
Yes.
seriously think that. And I think that helps him come off as a little bit more charismatic. He's got the energy. You can see it every conversation that he's in is super passionate. He's really behind everything.
I totally agree.
And it's every scene he kind of steals the show.
The jaw thing is interesting because I had been curious about it. I didn't really like look into it too much, but what I was able to find online was like, I guess he slipped and fell on a marble counter or something like at his house and like broke his jaw. And this was, I mean, it was after this movie, maybe like a couple years after this. And when they sewed it back shut, he had some like weird reaction where his, he had like muscles on the side of his jaw, the things that will get bigger, like a freaking chipmunk if you use them all the time. Those just got like outrageously big.
Yeah.
And he's
Because
like,
now he looks like a blockhead.
exactly. I mean, I will say it's come down a little bit in the last, like Ricky Stenicki, it's settled.
Fantastic movie. Oh, God, I love
Fantastic movie. Ricky Stenicki, it settles down a little bit, but it makes me feel bad because I do think I don't want to say he's better looking in this. This is the most believable, like, good looking. Wow, this dude he is it. This is probably the most that he is like that because I would say after this he's got Baywatch, he's got the you mentioned one of them already. Damn it, the Mike and Dave
Neighbors?
stuff. He's got Neighbors
Bad
2.
Grandpa, all those
Yeah, the Bad
monstrosities.
Grandpas. I mean, it's mostly comedies, and it's mostly like darker comedies or kind of, college comedies. He's got a movie on Apple TV that came out a couple years ago that I love. And I didn't really have like incredible expectations with it, so maybe I like it too much, but it's called The Greatest Beer Run Ever.
I did watch that.
And I really enjoyed it. It's set during the Vietnam War. He just goes and visits a friend. He promises him he'd bring him a beer. So it's like all of his movies are like very simple storylines, but he wins you over with his act. He's got more than that. I think he was in like The Greatest Showman. I think he's in like a lot of stuff, and he's got some ancillary parts in a lot of different things. But like where he's lead, I enjoy those more than the movies where he's just like a bit player or a role player. I like spending time with this guy, but this is definitely physically the best that he's looked in a movie. And I feel bad saying that because I know that, you know, he's probably been through some shit
Yeah.
since the
But I
filming
mean,
of this.
who also didn't look better when he's probably what,
Well,
3 years old filming this?
I will say when you're 17, well, I mean, what is he? He's probably 20 something playing a 17-year-old. I mean, God
Yeah.
bless.
And I'll tell you what, if I were another student, I'd be pissed that he transferred in. I'd be so upset. I would
I
do
would be pissed.
to be like, let's hate this guy. And that's him early. And they
You know
tried
what?
to.
Good point. Originally, like every time I watch this, I fucking hate Stan. But you know what? It's starting to make a lot more sense why Stan was so mad at him. You know, it really is. What did you think about some of the other casting with like Michelle Trachtenberg,
She's
with
great.
the
R.I.P. She
son?
was great in Gossip Girl. I always think in movies like this, and when you put families together, in my mind, I would prefer them all to look similarly so that they all
Same,
kind of
same.
look related. They don't at all. But I think as actors and the parts that they played, they did a fantastic job. She does a great job throughout like her character's growth and just going through like high school hormones pretty much. Like she's with this Stan guy. He's big loser, but like the jock at the same time. So he's cool. Her brother's getting bullied. And she's with this guy that treats her like crap and is only there for physical needs, you know? And
And
then
she's not even giving him physical, like,
and she's not even doing it, which is awesome. Go her.
go her.
She's
Go
into
girl.
she's going into she has an admissions acceptance to Georgetown. And she's like,
Early
I might
admission.
go to junior college instead. Like how dumb some people are and how real that is because people do it all the time. It really is true. So you have
That's
that.
one of my nitpicks with
That's
this.
really real. Then you've got her then falling back in love with basically her dad in a way, and she's trying to like pounce around. She's like, I'm a lioness. That is like the funniest scene ever to see Zac Efron's face like try to be Matthew Perry in that situation is so perfect. Like so perfect.
It's,
And then
I
she
will
grows
say,
like off by the end. She's like, I can't wait for college boys. Like it's just like the perfect growth of her going
it's a
from
very
high
good,
school girl to growing up.
it's a confusing but very good character arc.
Mm-hmm.
I have some nitpicks. We'll get to those later on in this. I think they did a good job casting all around. I will say
I think the
one of
principal
my,
casting and Ned
the
casting
principal,
is the best casting that could have been done.
she was great. So I remember her from The Office. She is
Jan.
Jan. Yes. She is Jan in The Office, Michael Scott's first love. And he is as awkward. He's probably as awkward as Ned is with in The Office with his love for her in that show. Ned was awesome in this. I don't know that you're going to pick a much better nerd character than what we got out of him. He was
100%.
just like, he was over the top for sure. I mean, dear God.
I think Efron, and Mann were perfectly casted.
I love them. I
Yes.
love them. The guardian angel could have been Santa Claus. Didn't feel one way or another about that guy.
Yeah.
There's
Would have been that's a cool opportunity to throw in like an insane superstar for a role just because they're only in it for like 3 scenes.
exactly. That'd be fun.
But it really, to your point, it didn't matter who it was.
Didn't matter who it was. It's just some guy. There's a couple throwbacks with like the nerd stuff, especially at Ned's house with all of his like
They could have done
memorabilia.
Stan better because Stan looks too much like a high school version of yourself. And I wanted to root for Stan because of that.
I mean, pardon my neck tattoo that I don't have. Is that or the frosted tips? I'm not sure. I will say Stan bugged me to no end because he was like over the top with that character. Like, listen, bro, we've all, there's always bullies in every school. There's probably less now, or they're probably all like, passive aggressive cyber bullies, but more than like physical, because it's easier to make fun of people online than it is to their face nowadays. I remember thinking like, damn, dude, even back in 2009 when this came out, I remember thinking, this guy's over the top. I mean, I'm just telling you right now, we had bigger guys than him at school who would have whipped his ass. Unless he could fight. If he could fight, then maybe.
No one would have been this guy's friend. Like, he has a girlfriend. He's like openly catcalling girls at the bowling alley. And they're at the phys ed class, and he like grabs all the condoms and then like tries to make out with Maggie. It's like, dude, oh my God, if anyone ever did that in high school, like you would never not hear the end of like how bad that was.
No. I mean, it's terrible. So I don't know, if there's anybody that could have played Stan that I would have liked more. I think he could have toned that back about like 20%. I would have been more okay with it. But if you're thinking back to, so we're getting into like the casting what ifs right now. Before we dive further into this movie, I just want to give people some context here. There's some alternate young Mike O'Donnell possibilities that were never final, but these circulated. These were conversations, let's say.
If you say Tobey Maguire, I'm gonna freak out.
I'm not gonna say Tobey Maguire. Jesus, Pete, dude. Like, you know what? Tobey Maguire couldn't play anything in it. He could have maybe played the son. They had the same energy.
Yeah, he could have played the son.
Loser energy. Shia LaBeouf circulated. I think Shia would have been great. I'm a huge Shia guy. I fucking think
he'd have been great. Awesome. I just don't buy the athlete thing from him.
Not a chance. It would have been a different storyline. I think it probably ends up being less wholesome. Plus, like, we just got him in Transformers like a year or two before this. Yeah, I think he would have probably been too old. And plus, I think right before Transformers, we had him in Disturbia. So he'd already played high school guy too many times. So even that aside, while I love him as the actor, he's not better than Efron in this role. There are two others. One guy is too old. Ryan Reynolds, way too freaking old. He was quickly dismissed. Joseph Gordon-Levitt, which, I mean, yeah, he can act, but I'm sorry, dude. Don John is not going to take over Zac Efron's charm, okay? Yeah. He can't walk into that school as a freaking nobody and dress like, oh my God, dude, that's one of my top scenes.
Way too much charm.
Bro, I'm telling you.
Other two guys who I think could do it, but they probably weren't at the right age at the time of it would be Ryan Gosling. He could just kind of do it. He's done.
He could do it.
The charisma part of it. And then the other name would probably be a younger Gyllenhaal.
I could see that. I think, it's a different movie. I think he's perfected like weird energy.
They both would give it too serious of a vibe than what this does.
Yes. I think what keeps it a rom-com is having this lightness to it that, I mean, Efron just does a good job keeping it light. Like, even like the darkest it gets is, the daughter or the daughter's friends trying to bang him and him being, oh, okay.
It's like, ladies,
sit down,
how do you expect anyone to respect you if you can't respect yourselves? And it's like so serious. And they're like, you don't have to respect me.
Don't respect me. That's a great line. Great line. Matthew Perry slot, probably a little bit, that's definitely like a lot more flexible. I think his role was a lot less locked in. There are other actors that fit that profile. I mean, I'm kind of glad that they went with him because before this movie, I mean, everybody knows him from Friends. He's got a few movies under his belt, like The Whole Nine Yards, they're good movies, but he's basically playing the same character and everything. And while I like him, in this, there are a couple of guys that could have played it. I'm glad that they stuck with him because R.I.P., it's just a great movie to add to the discography for him. Jason Bateman probably has a very similar dry wit sense of humor. Maybe not as handsome. Still doesn't look like Efron. Could have been like, could have made the movie maybe a little smarter, but I think I don't know, maybe it skews more adult too. I also, they had Ben Stiller as a suggestion. I think that makes it too funny. Paul Rudd has looked the same for the last 45 years. So I don't know how old he is at this point. He might be 80.
But he's
And
done some
still looks
movies
like
with
he's
Leslie
20.
Mann too.
Yeah, he's been in a lot of stuff with Leslie. So we know they have chemistry.
Mm-hmm. But I think the Matthew Perry one's perfect because the way he's playing it and his face all the time, Chandler always looks like kind of confused and puzzled. Yes. And like I think it's perfect for Zac Efron to do that and then like figure it out and get like that like enlightenment out of it.
Yes. I think like Stiller he's genuinely hilarious. Same with
I just couldn't see him as a guy that's like a failure kind of like husband, half-assing things, not getting things done. I would just see Ben Stiller as that guy's gonna get it done. Like
I can't argue with that. I've seen him do things too well over the years. But he'd be a guy that would like try too hard and go over the top with stuff, not like Matthew Perry. Matthew Perry is like perfect sarcastic disappointment. Like if you looked up sarcastic disappointment in the dictionary, it's Matthew Perry. So I think he is also instantly believable as a guy who peaked early. Like it just, I'm sorry, it just looks perfect. Leslie Mann, she might low-key be the second best casting choice in this. I think she sells, we already said, like attainable, good-looking mom who had kids young. She sells chemistry. She sells the emotion of the movie and kind of, I don't know, keeping the family together. And at the same time, she works so well with Efron. I mean, there are several scenes where those two, I mean, maybe it's just me, thinking too hard on it, but they're just, I can think off the top of my head like 3 or 4 scenes where those two are just like, I would give anything to be a fly on the wall and just watch those two for hours. Like their conversations together are so perfect. And how I would envision real people having those conversations if this situation were to happen in real life. I just think she's so believable. And if that character is not, the whole movie falls apart. Then it's just like, all right, now we're just watching Efron be funny and charming for, an hour and a half.
Yeah. Yeah, the 2 scenes there that stand out for me are when she first meets him. And she's like goo goo gaga over the face. Like she's like, that is my husband. Yeah. That one's great. And then the second one I love is the dancing scene in the house before she goes on her date. That one is just, it gets my heart every time. And it's so weird too, because the dynamic of it is his son, but it's also like he's his son's best friend at the time, so it gives that weird dynamic to it where it's still edgy in a way. But we all know watching the film what's going on.
Yes, 100%. I will say do you want to get into like our favorite scenes in this?
Let's do it.
Now? Okay. When it comes to best performance, you've got a few options. Who are you giving it to?
I mean, this movie is Zac Efron's like real breakout movie because before he was doing musicals, this is his first time really acting and in a big money role. And like, not to be weird, he's physically perfect in this movie. And his charisma is off the charts. He goes from absolute bottom of the feeder pole, both as an adult and as a high schooler, to on top at both by the end. And he's so convincing and it's so passionate. And like you really do buy into the story because of how well he acts. Now I do have some other people that are great, but none can steal the spotlight from Efron on this. This is his movie.
No, it's his movie, man. Efron's the winner. He's freaking awesome in this. I don't think it's like there's great performances in here from some of the role players, but we had an MVP play like an MVP on this. There's a lot of, this is the first time that I watched this movie in a few years, and I picked up on several lines that I didn't realize I had taken from this movie, but I have. And they've been stored in the Rolodex. So in terms of best quote or best lines, I'm going to give you a couple options and you sprinkle in anything else that you want. The dance scene that you mentioned, she's like, I don't know if I can dance. And he goes, I'm an amazing dancer.
Yeah. You're an amazing dancer.
And she's like, what? And he's like, oh, Nothing.
You
It's just
just
you
look
look
like
like you could dance. Love that. Every time gets me. And
my
then you already mentioned one where
and
he's
she
where
still does dance with him, which is crazy,
and
by
she
the
still
way.
does. She still goes for it.
Yeah.
The other one, there's another one that gets me every time. You've already mentioned it. It's "Don't Respect Me." I freaking think that's hysterical.
Don't respect me. You don't even have to remember my name.
They're like, ew, that's slutty. But one, Jim Gaffigan is in this movie too. Spoiler. He's the basketball coach, which I totally forgot about until I saw him in the very
He
beginning and
doesn't
the very end.
age. That's the
Dude,
funniest part is he
he
doesn't
looks
age.
the exact same as
That
he does right
itself
now.
is so funny.
So it's when he blows his whistle and goes, "All right, gather up, jock straps." Every time he does, I'm like, dude, you know how many times I've done that to these kids that I've coached over the years? So those are a couple of my best lines that just, I just freaking love them. They get to me. I don't think any of them are in my best scenes at all, not even close, but just things that stuck with me. Do you have any other ones?
Yeah, I do actually. One of them I use from time to time whenever I have a bad outfit. We're all used to the snow and stuff right now, so I'm throwing on sweatpants and I'm throwing crazy colors on that just don't match. When Ned pulls in and he's trying to get the principal's attention for the second time, and he's like, "What are you wearing?" Because Zac Efron's decked out in like Ed Hardy,
Ed Hardy.
looking like an absolute like tool. And then you've got Ned who one ups him. He's wearing like a cowboy hat, a turquoise button down, like a leather jacket, flying pants, like whatever, and walks right in. Are you peacocking? He's like,
Are you peacocking?
maybe.
Every time. This is like the very beginning of the peacocking stage in pop culture. I remember it well. Oh my God.
That was so funny to me. That was the first time like I ever heard that and just thought it was great. There's several other like great scenes, but one-liners, I'd have to give another one to it's later on in the movie when it's after the flower scene, after the scene with the dancing, sorry, and the new guy who's gonna take her out on a date comes up with the flowers. He's like, "Carnesians went tool."
What?
So you're gonna go with this guy over Uncle Mike? Like, come on. And he's
Come
just
on.
pleading for himself.
And the guy at the door is like, "Well, listen, I've been there. It's okay. No big deal. Like, I get it. Some, divorced, and guy comes to your house to try and date your mom. So you're going to be the king of the castle. You got to say something." She goes, "Yeah, but that's not my son." He goes, "Huh. Well, yeah, that is weird." Gets me every time, dude. So funny. What's your most rewatchable moment? I got 4 options that I wrote down here,
Okay.
and feel free to sprinkle in. First one is when he stands up to the bully in the cafeteria. I thought,
Good.
epic scene. So good.
He's
Like,
spinning the basketball around.
yup.
My gosh, just that is exactly what I was saying when we opened this. We're talking about how he's kind of more fearless because he's older and wiser and he's not afraid to stand up to the bully, and he just absolutely roasts him on like
100%.
what people think why a bully is a bully for 4 reasons, and he just goes over them. The last one is just killer.
Kills it. And I also love that he starts out, he goes, "What am I going to do? First, I'm going to call your father."
So great.
Really? Oh, just great. So that's what
According to lead psychiatrists, Stan's a bully for one of 3 reasons.
I
Like a
got.
caveman, Stan's brain's underdeveloped. So it calls him to
Underdeveloped.
act out aggressively. It's so good.
Reason 2, there's a little girl in there somewhere that's just dying to get out. And number
Poor
3,
thing.
he's got a small penis.
Which is crazy to say in front of the whole school first like day.
The whole
Jeez.
school, and you know what? He doesn't do shit about it, which
Mhm.
just goes to show, like, listen,
Most battles
you
are
stand
verbal.
up to a bully, sometimes you just got to hit him in the nose, okay? And they'll fucking back off. So that's my one scene. I just love that scene. He sticks up for his son. When you think of him as like a new kid that's sticking up for some random kid, it doesn't really make sense. But when you realize it's him sticking up for his son, it makes all the sense in the world. I love you already named this one, the backyard reveal into the dance, into shaming the date. That whole sequence gets me every time. It's her showing off her landscaping skills, something that's been like a little dream of hers that she's always wanted to do. And he's appreciating it and showing her the love that she'd been looking for and the attention that she'd been looking for, and then turning on their wedding song on the
So
CD
slick.
player. Like, how did you come up with this song? He goes, I don't know, it just speaks to me. And her trying to teach him this dance, but he already knows all the steps to it, and he just starts taking over and like leading, and she's like, oh my God, you're really good at this. It just gets me every time, man. And the shaming the day part you already mentioned, so love that scene. I could watch it all day. Maggie's friends all wanting to get with him is hysterical, be it at the bowling alley, at school, it doesn't matter where it is. It's always funny. Particularly the scene I have in mind is when they go to the bowling alley, and we've already mentioned that one. So I love that scene. And then I love it when Principal Masterson finally lets Ned take her out on a date. He's trying way too hard yet again. And then he finally lets his guard down and says, look, I'm a dork. All right. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to be around people. I'm just trying to do what I think other people will think is cool. I'm sorry. And she's like, okay. She's like, I'm the kind of guy that, like, spend $10,000 on a Gandalf the Grey staff, from Lord of the Rings. And then she like perks up immediately and just starts speaking Elvish to him, and the whole night goes in a totally different direction than what they had thought it was going to go. So I love that, because there's a little nerd in all of us. I just thought it was fun to watch him get something that he wanted after finally like letting his guard down and just being himself. So I love those as my rewatchable moments. Do you have any other ones?
Those are fantastic. I think there's two other ones I'd add. One is when he first wakes up in the body and he's like, I feel great. Because like, how much would you want to go back and feel that? Like, you're not sore ever. Your stamina is insane. You can eat anything you want. It's going to be, whoa. Like, that feeling is probably so real that one took me away. And then one that I think makes this whole movie as good as it is when he shows up to the court reading and Ned prints out like the law degree, and Efron just goes full off the head, but makes it look like he's reading from a note. And that's when everything started to make a little bit more sense.
I have that as my best scene in this. I have that as the best scene because it's his delivery. He is perfect in that. You can feel that he is the 37-year-old who's lost everything that he took for granted. And you can feel it in his delivery. You can see it in his eyes. You can hear the pain in his voice. And the reveal that it's just directions to the courthouse, when she realizes, that's the moment she realizes, oh my God, that is him. It is Mike. It's not some random kid who's just this weird man-child. It was in that moment was him finally learning his lesson and sinking in that, you know what, I have been after all of these things and been so despondent, so angry over the last 20 years that I didn't get any of those things, that I've totally forgotten the things that I do have. And the fact that I've let you guys down as my children. I've been a terrible father. I've let you down as my wife, the person that I love the most. If I love you the way that I know that I do now, after seeing this all in a different light, I know that I have to let you go. And that scene, it breaks my heart every time. And it also is what cements the movie. That is the fucking scene that makes this a movie that goes from like a 7.5 type of rom-com movie to that's a 9+ because of this scene, because it gives you all the feels that you are looking for when you turn on a movie like this. And that's what you want from your fucking lead actor too, and your lead actress in this. I can feel the chemistry. I feel the tension in the room. I feel the confusion. I feel the regret. I feel everything.
And those tears that he had reading that were real. Those were real. Those had to be real. You can't read something like that and not choke up. Dude. That was just...
Oh my God. It was
He had to
incredible.
be so clutch in that scene to do that off the top of his head and
Bro, I
really
watched that
sold.
scene, and that to me, that is LeBron game 6 in Boston. And he's just, I'm not going at it here like this. That's him. That was it. It
Mhm.
was incredible. I'm glad you mentioned that, dude. All right. What age the best? I've got Efron's charm. I mean, that is fucking timeless. This guy is incredible. I've got the idea of going back in time to right your wrongs, except in this case, I guess he doesn't really go back in time. He's still in present day, but to be able to see his mistakes more plainly from a different vantage point, I think it's just it's another trope that I don't think we'll ever get tired of. I think it's awesome. Dude, Efron's dance moves still fucking incredible. This guy, overall athleticism, excellent. And him channeling Chandler and hating on Scarlett's friend. I mean, will always age well for me. I love it.
I think what aged the best is, if you really want to look at it and get technical, is Jim Gaffigan. The guy didn't age a bit as the coach. He didn't age a single day. It was
Not a beat. Do you think they aged him up in this movie, or he's just like that weird albino age thing where he's gonna look the same for the rest of his life?
Like, look, we can't make him younger. That would scare our audience. We
It would
need him at
scare
this.
everybody away. He'd just turn into powder. Oh my God.
Gather
What
up,
age?
jock straps.
Gather up, jock straps. It's just, I love it too. And he's like, "You're still here?" He goes, "Yeah." Because
You're legend.
you're a legend. He's like, "Well, thanks. I mean, yeah, it's my last year, but you know, what age the worst?" I've got Stan. I just hate that guy. I think he's an ape. But if he tones it down like 20, 25%, I'm a little bit more with it. I get it. I think there's also no way that Chandler's 37. Like, he's the oldest 37-year-old I've ever fucking seen in my life. This dude's more like 47.
That was a stretch. I
It's a
agree.
stretch. It's a stretch. I would say maybe the bullying. I mean, duct tape to the toilet, locking kids in a trophy case. I just don't think kids would do that these days. Oh, in 2009, for sure they would. At least at some schools. I also thought it was weird. Like, dude, you get a kid that you kind of touched on this a little bit earlier with the casting. When you have Zac Efron as your daddy and Leslie Mann as your mom, you better have some fucking hot kids. They're not uggos, but they're not hotties. And they're also not like confident either. Like, neither one of them. And particularly the son. The son is like, God, dude, I look at Efron at 17 and I look at the son at 17. I'm like, Jesus, these are two completely
They're
different
just
people.
like, yeah, like mentally, they're not even close to being
Not even.
repeated, which is, for me, can't do it.
No.
That's the part where I'm like, all right, they reached here. They wanted to go a little bit more for the pity thing. Give Efron more of a side quest to be this guy's best friend, rather than if he were already cool. But it's just like another thing that he's got to fix in his life, and he's like understanding his purpose. But really, his whole purpose was to make his life with Scarlett better. Instead, along the way, he thought, oh, maybe I can help out my kids too.
And it works. I mean, in a way. The daughter, I'm not sure. Time will tell with that. Maybe there will be a sequel to this at some point. But the daughter, not a smoke. But that's not my biggest. That's not my biggest
not a
gripe.
smoke?
Thing that doesn't age well with her. She's book smart but dumb. I'm sorry. If you're going to Georgetown, you're not dating a Stan who's barely. He's on the management track at Home Depot. That's like not how that works. It just,
especially not today as much.
I don't think so.
Like,
I don't
I
think
get
so.
people going to a school and something because of a significant other, but you don't stoop from Georgetown, which is like almost an Ivy League school, to junior college. That's like not a step you do.
It's not a step you take. That's a bridge too far. Like, if he's going to Berkeley, early admission, okay, I can see you're like, all right, maybe I'll switch from Georgetown to this and instead. But come on, that's a bridge or two too far. So if there is one
who
thing,
has a neck tattoo in high school? That
Nobody has a neck tattoo in high
never.
school. I will say in Edgewater, there was one dude who had one. Absolutely terrifying, by the way. And I'm not sure if he's in prison right now. If you're not, you know who you are. No disrespect. I want no smoke with you, bro. This dude was a man child and absolutely terrifying. So, but otherwise, like, dude, you're just not getting like neck tattoos in high school. I'm sorry. It's crazy. If you could fix one thing in the movie, what would it be? I might not change the characters, but I might change the performance a little bit with the kids. You know, not change the actors, but that's my one gripe with it. Otherwise, I'm pretty good with whatever they got.
Mm-hmm.
You got anything that you would fix with it without rewriting the entire movie?
What I would fix, I mean, I think the kids, like, it's not the worst thing in the world having them. I would definitely fix Stan, and I would fix a little bit of, like, I guess the makeup behind Efron's character, of him having a backstory, could have been a little bit better. Him like having to live at Ned's house, really cool because you're able to get like that whole party and everything out of
Yes.
that. But it's also, how believable is it that Uncle Ned has a kid that also looks like that? You know what I mean?
That's true. That's true.
So that's like kind of a loophole if you wanted to get technical. But I mean, I don't really have any complaints about this movie. I freaking love it. It's so great. It's got a bit of everything. You've got everybody being celebrated in a way except for bullies. You know, you got
That's
the
true.
nerds coming out on top. Man, sorry for doing this so late too. There's another that I wanted to add on
Go ahead.
great moments, and it's with Ned. And he's like, I swore I would not go back to that godforsaken place. I'll never go back to Hayden High School. He's like, I love it here. No one throws me in a toilet here. I'm rich now. Like, everything is so much better since I got rid of high school. And like, that's a genuine feeling probably a lot of people do have. And that
I think
like
so.
resentment towards high school. But then he goes back and finds the love of his life.
That is true. I mean, it tells you, like, I don't know, maybe you face your fears and good things can come from it. There is a lot of lessons in this movie, or in a lot of things that they tie together pretty nicely. What's the best Zac Efron stock moment where his value jumps? You know, for me, I don't know that it's necessarily a moment. I mean, we did talk about best scene. Like, for me, it's the courtroom. I think that's probably his highest stock jump in one specific scene. But if we're talking about the movie as a whole, I think it's his comedy. I think he is genuinely funny. I think he has great timing. And I think that's what keeps you engaged throughout, beyond just his looks. You're like, there's a lot of good looking actors that aren't really good at acting, but I think him keeping you engaged with his little moments of quick thinking comedy and witty behavior and stuff, and his just little mannerisms and facial expressions that mimic Chandler's, I think that's what keeps you in. And then what seals it is the courtroom scene. For me, that's the Zac Efron stock. Anything different from you on that?
Yeah, no, I feel the same, especially like the moments where he's in his child body but doing more dad-esque like outbursts. Like, I think that whole scene in the phys ed room is just great, of him like talking about abstinence, and no kid ever would ever stand up and say that, ever. But then by the time he's done, all the girls are like, I don't
even want
to take
these.
him back. And it's like, dude, this guy just he's amazing the way he can walk into a room and control a room.
It's great. It's great. It's a superpower I wish that I had. I'll be honest with you. It's like, God, this guy's just the best at it. That's my moment that starts off the cringiest but ends like the sweetest, is that scene right there with the condoms and the sex ed talk and all that stuff.
Like, when it first started, I was like, what are they doing writing this? This is gross. No one wants to hear this. And then like it turns around into this thing where he just wows everybody, and
it's
like
awesome.
Actually breaks through to these kids.
Except for Stan. Stan's just, again, the ape meathead, and then they end up getting in a fight. Best needle drop or music cue. You know, I don't know that there is a super good example of this, but I'll give you the best that I can come up with for this award. And it's when he shows up to the school after the makeover. So after he goes shopping with Ned to get clothes that are not
I've been
Ed
thinking
Hardy.
about that in my head on replay.
It's one of the coolest I've ever seen anybody look in a movie.
Dude, if you show up to high school looking that fly, like he was just in like an oversized suit that was all moppy, wet, dirty, and he still looked fly in it. Like
he did.
Because he's that cool. But when he pulls up in a brand new Audi, I remember that car at the time being like the it car too. That was like the it car that everybody wanted. That Audi M3, I think. And
it
yeah,
was
just
James
up,
Bond.
Jacket, glasses, the man.
I remember watching that scene for the first time thinking, God damn, I got to be able to pull off white tee, leather jacket, black pants, aviators. Then I'll be as cool as Efron. Turns out it does not work for everybody, but he was so cool when he showed up, and the way that he's turning heads, I'm like, yeah, if I fucking was sitting around with my buddies and I see a dude walking by us looking like that, I'm thinking, that's the coolest guy alive. There's no
That's what
ifs,
I'm
ands, or
saying.
buts.
That's why I was like, I would hate if this guy transferred into my high school. I'd be so pissed. I'd be like, oh, all right, none of us have a chance this year, guys.
Say goodbye to all the women, young
scholarships,
and old.
girls out the window. All right.
It's so true. My biggest suspend disbelief tax is not like, taking the time sequence and the body swapping stuff out of this. Outside of the obvious stuff, it's the flashback into 1989, him dancing with the cheerleaders. I think that happens in 2007. In 1989, I think he's getting his ass kicked if he's trying. That's my guess. I was born in 1989. I'm not sure. I'm going to need some of the audience members that might be a little bit older to reflect back on that. But I don't think anybody's dancing with cheerleaders in 1989. 2007, I can totally see it. So that's my only, outside of the obvious body swaps, disbelief tax. I don't know if there's
that
anything
also looked so cool when he was doing that. like no one would ever get away with it. You could be the number one recruit in the country, would not get it. You just get roasted online all day. But
no, I mean, the closest we saw to that was John Wall, maybe.
Yeah.
At Kentucky. And that was, he wasn't really with cheerleaders, I don't think. There might be a clip with him with cheerleaders doing it, but just doing the Dougie.
But yeah, you just
But yeah, but that's about it. But I will say, you and I were texting offline 2 nights ago. Give me your best basketball movies, because you have this in there. Give me your quick top 5.
I'm going to go number 1, Coach Carter. I just love Coach Carter. I think it's just a fantastic movie. There's so many basketball ones that this is hard. So this was all off the riff, guys. All off the riff. But I said up there I had Coach Carter at 1. I had 17 again up there. I had Rebound with Martin Lawrence. I think that movie is just great. The Smelters. It's just, no one talks about that movie ever because it is so bad, but it's actually not that bad. If you sit down and watch each scene, you're going to be like, I'm not too pissed that I watched it.
Let's look up the Rotten Tomatoes for that when this is over, because I'm sure it's exemplary.
And then I gave you a few others that weren't great as well, but I love them. Like Mike, great movie.
Like Mike, oh, classic. John Tucker Must Die has a good couple of basketball scenes in there as well. That's another fun one from about this time. I'm a He Got Game guy, but that might be a little darker than some of the other ones.
That's great with Ray Allen.
Yeah, it's a great one. It's a great one, but rated R version. It's not going to compete with a Rebound. But
I was just going with what came to my head, and it was.
When you think basketball, like, wow. We think Rebound. All right, I don't blame you. Let's see, what else do we have on this?
Just Right as well. Another great movie with Queen Latifah and Common, the rapper.
Wow, yeah, that's another one. Good call on that. Good call.
It's one of my faves. You could throw High School Musical in there. It's just Zac Efron, really.
It's him doing the same stuff, just sing-songing. And it turns out I don't think that he actually is singing in that. I think it's like a voiceover that's doing his singing. I don't know.
It's got to be.
That's my guess.
The guy can't have it all, dude.
Well,
what more does he want?
Listen, it is possible, I'm sure. So if we're to cast this movie in 2026, let's say similar storyline, For older Mike, here's a couple of options that I have here. It depends on who you get here, but listen to my cast here. Older Mike, you could have Jason Bateman or fat Chris Pratt, not skinny Chris Pratt or, in shape Chris Pratt. I got fat one. Young Mike, I don't really know any young actors that I think could pull this off in the same way. A couple of suggestions that I found online were like Austin Butler and Jacob Elordi, but I think they're freakishly, at least Jacob Elordi is like 6'5". I don't think who the fuck are you going to get? Maybe Vince Vaughn is his dad. Is he the only other like 6'5" guy I know? Or Will Ferrell. Scarlett could be Elizabeth Banks or Rachel McAdams. I could see either one of those two. Ned could be maybe Bill Hader, or maybe we just bring back Lieutenant Dangle. I don't know. Casting in 26 is going to be hard though for this. I would need more time. I got to check IMDb and see all the profiles available.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm trying to do right now. Look at who the actors under 30 are, because you got to be under 30 to play Efron.
Be tough. Now I would say if you were to turn this,
you're not going to go with like a Chalamet, like he's too small.
He's too small. He's too small, dude.
Yeah.
I would say you could probably turn this into a TV show where you have a little bit more extended time with the characters, and whether it's a miniseries that goes on Netflix or like a Apple TV type thing, you could have some fun with it. I like the idea of spending more time with these characters and diving a little deeper. It'd be a little bit more serious, I think. It'd be kind of like, you ever watch the show Stick on Apple TV with Owen Wilson? Yeah. I think it'd be like that, where there's a good mix of drama and comedy in it, and you'd be able to have actors that can pull both of those things off pretty well. But yeah, I don't know. It's a tough one. That's a tough one. Could also do
I'll tell you who currently could play a much better version of Stan, and it would be Rob Roush. He was on Love Island. He's recently on Traitors right now. That's coming out each week.
Okay.
He'd be perfect. He's got like snake tattoos all on his arms, so he fits in perfect.
He's
actually a really good actor, man. Like, I think he's really talented. You'll see, this guy's gonna blow up over the next couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, as long as he's not like I thought Stan was crazy over the top on this, just trying to play what I guess people think a bully is. You know what I mean? Instead of just being a dick. If you're gonna be a bully, just be a dick. You don't have to like try to be every bully trope that you've ever seen.
I'm gonna see what the saying Tom Holland. Just no, dude.
No, I don't know about Tom Holland, dude. I do want to see what the critics said on this one. I usually have those pulled up and ready to go. I mean, it's not great. It's not great. I'm not going to lie to you. Now, Efron naturally did get nominated for a Kids' Choice Award. Also nominated for MTV Movie Award, Best Male Performance, classic. It did get People's Choice Award for Favorite Comedy Movie in 2010, so that's something. And yeah, I guess Efron did win 2009 winner Teen Choice Award, favorite movie actor and favorite movie rock star moment, favorite movie star. Damn, this guy's just cleaning up, dude. This is a Zeph vehicle right now. Jeez Louise.
And this show, by the way, there's a show 18 Again.
Shut up.
That's based on this, but it's a South Korean TV show. But it's like based on it.
Wow, I'm sorry. It's very nice.
57%.
Wow.
Shockingly low.
Wow, that is low. Like, not in a good way. That's really low. Well, you know what? Fuck you guys, okay?
But this 67% on the popcornometer.
Well, better. Deserves a higher rating if we're being honest with each other.
I think it's because a lot of people maybe don't laugh at Ned, and they should, because he's fantastic.
I could see that. I think you got to be in the right mood maybe for him, because his performance is over the top, but it's like, it's very 2009. It's not something that I would see a bunch of kids giggling at these days. It's definitely got like comfort watch status. I think there's several lessons in it, but they're very clean. It's a very easy tone to follow. You can jump in on this at pretty much any point in the movie and be good to go. It's not mean-spirited other than fucking Stan. We don't like Stan. It's a sincere movie. And it's also, I'm actually surprised it hasn't been on more because of Perry's death and Trachtenberg's death, like both pretty untimely and surprising last year or the year before. So I'm actually surprised it hasn't gotten more play because of that. And it's a little, I mean, that's a little depressing, but honestly, like this movie
That
should
too,
be rated
watching it
higher.
again, seeing those two, it's like a little sad, but
It is
it's
sad.
also nice to know that this movie, in my mind, it feels timeless. Like to me, high school hasn't changed that much from it. At least like my perception of it will probably never change, you know?
That's true.
So like it's gonna be a go-to comfort movie for me for a long time.
Same here. And I get it if kids these days don't get onto it because one thing is not in this. There's not like, I don't remember seeing cell phones in this movie or a bunch of computers. I mean, Ned, makes his fortune making software and he's on the computer once, like battling some Indian kid,
But
Samir.
it's not like these crazy iPhones and stuff. It's like
No.
they show like a text of the party blowing up and they're on like Blackberries and stuff like that.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. So, I mean, I get that culture is a little different now and that kids growing up have a very different upbringing than what we had because of technology, but still, if you take your nose out of the phone for an hour and a half, watch this movie, you'll be fucking impressed and you'll be glad that you did. I think this movie is sorely underrated and it should be rated higher. I think it's fantastic. Number one reason, Efron's performance. It's stronger than the premise deserves. There is a marriage and a family arc that actually lands, and Ned just kind of keeps this thing moving. He keeps it humming, and he gives you a character that'll grow on you as the movie goes and somebody that you can root for in addition to the lead. Would this movie stack up today? Maybe an 8, 9 is how I would rank it, but it's just such a good comfort watch. It's hard to judge those in the same light as you would a Dark Knight or a movie that is supposed to be going after the best of the best. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I feel like the visual graphics of it have aged well too. Like I watched that and it didn't feel like this movie's old. You know, I watched it, I
No,
was like, okay, this is good. This is great.
it's not bad. Like that's kind of why I love movies like this, where there's not a shitload of effects in it, because you can actually just drift into the movie and you don't have to worry about it really losing its space over time because the visual effects sucked on it or whatever. You know what I mean? It's cool. And they also do something that's really fun. That I love it when movies do this, and it's usually high school movies. When they in the credits when they run and they start showing everybody that worked on the movie and all their yearbook photos from
That was
when they were
cool.
kids. I love that,
Cool
dude.
touch.
It's just like it's always something that gets me. It's a fun thing. It's cool.
This
And
definitely
just
seemed like it was fun to shoot, that they had a good time
yes,
on set, and it's
100%.
a
If
feel
the
good movie.
yes, it's a feel good movie, dude. And if these people are having fun doing it, then fuck yeah, I'm having fun watching it. So I thought it was great. Could there be a sequel, prequel TV series? Maybe. Short answer, yes. What's the most watchable version of that? I don't know. We kind of pitched it a little bit. I think the most watchable version, if it's not going to be a TV series, is maybe you do a prequel and maybe, I don't know, maybe you get a little bit more time with 17-year-old Mike and his story, and
Yeah.
what his real life was like and how he was cool and him and Scarlett's actual relationship versus what you perceive it to be in the beginning. So, um,
Same thing with the kids too. Like if you get a little bit more background onto, their lives and stuff. It was a lot that you had to assume.
yes,
But they also, it's not like how CK would appreciate it, you know. Every scene that they used, there was a meaning for each scene. It
agreed.
wasn't any like unnecessary filming, nothing like that. I just thought it's an easy watch. It's easy to root for. It sucked me in with just some charm.
100%, dude. 100%. Um, G Dog, thank you, dude, for doing this one with me. I could talk about being 17 again for another hour, but we've both got shit that we got to get done for tonight. I appreciate you being on with this with us, with me for this one. Just a fucking great movie, guys. Shit, if you could be 17 again for a week, what's the first thing you would do? I can think of a dozen plus things, not all PG. But listen, the fantasy in this, it's not redoing your past. It's actually understanding your present. I think that's what makes this movie special. A lot of times in life, we are just so driven by things that go wrong or things that happen to us. And this movie is just a nice reminder of being grateful for the things that you do have. And whether that's relationships, friendships, there's a lot of messaging in here that will be timeless. And it's got some great acting in it. It's got a great storyline. And I got to say, this deserved every freaking minute that it was on in the Hall House growing up. And it's going to stay on in the Hall House when my kids are growing up too. So R.I.P. Matthew Perry, R.I.P. Michelle Trachtenberg, Zac Efron. We love you, dude. Keep making stuff like this. You're just such a good hang. A great 104-minute hang. And I look forward to every single time that you're on with us. Thank you guys for joining us too, audience. We love you. This has been our first night shift in a minute. We've had an absolute disaster of a snowstorm on the East Coast and have been snowed in. We've had ice galore. It's been freaking chaos here in the Mid-Atlantic. So you'll have to excuse us for not having as many episodes out as we would normally have by this time. But appreciate you guys joining us. We are excited to announce that we are now on Apple Music, on Deezer, on iHeartRadio podcasts. And as always, you can still find us on YouTube channels, on Spotify, and on Apple Podcasts, wherever you may be listening. So you can follow us on the House Cats Podcast Network. You can also follow us on the Nightshift podcast on all of those different platforms. We love you. The Nightshift. Clocking out. Till next time.